Okay, on our 69 Cougar, I got the doors jammed. Yesterday, me and Jared got the back jammed the day before, bottom of the trunk. Yesterday we got the door jams done. We even got the hinges sandblasted and painted yesterday, which cost me a 30 pack of Cougars. I call that a deal.
All it takes is one job, oh yeah. All it takes is one job, and everything is gonna be okay.
So I'm gonna show you how we align panels. Right now, both hinges are loose. We just have the bolts close. Jared's gonna be holding the back of the door. I'm gonna be working the front and sticking some bolts in there. Today I went down to the local Ace Hardware and got some stainless shoulder bolts. The shoulder bolt is pretty standard on these old vehicles. Chevy and Ford used a shoulder bolt. I like them because you don't need a washer. These ones have the lock on the back, the knurls, which has been working pretty well on these doors and hinges. If I had more time, I would just buy a bolt kit for this vehicle, but in consideration that it's time to put these on and I don't have it, we're just gonna go with these. Stainless hardware on this one, and you know, these bolts just aren't cheap. I think these cost me almost just shy of $80, but you know, that's not going to rust, it's not going to look bad, the paint's not going to come off of it, so it's kind of a win-win. So I'll show you how we're going to do this. Small parts tomorrow. Alright, so while Jared's holding the back, I'm going to start some bolts in the front here. Sometimes it can be a little tough with the fresh paint and the threads and whatnot. Remember, my pillar ones are loose, so these can get there. There is adjustment up and down between the two. So you're not going to be able to guess where those hinges are supposed to be on your pillar. Alright, I got them started. I'm just making sure I got a little gap down here compared to my rocker. And then now Jared can move the hinges up and down where he needs to go. Get it kind of in the area. If you don't have a Jared, use a jack under the back here. Alright, so our initial is a large gap, and we're a little low. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shimmy back and forth. So when we want to close a gap, we're not going to loosen up all our hinges again because it's just too shaky. What we're going to do is loosen the bottom hinge on the pillar side. We're going to rock that door back until we kind of get our gap there. We're going to take the door high though. So you rock it back and up, and that's going to take our door too high in the back, but it's going to get that gap a little closer. Then we're going to go back, tighten up that bottom hinge. We're going to loosen up the top hinge on the pillar side, and then we're going to rock it down, and that's going to close that gap and bring that back down. When we have our gaps here and our door is unloaded, which means it doesn't have the window regulator and it doesn't have a door panel on it. Some of those door panels can weigh a bit, especially in the 80s. All that weight is going to bring that door down, so we're going to set it a skoshie high. Skoshie. Basically, you're going to set it high, and then you're going to grab the door and pull it down and see if it'll flex down to where that door gap is correct, and that's kind of where you're going to want to leave it until it's loaded. So right now, loosen bottom hinge, pillar side, and we're going to bring that door up to close that gap in the back a little. Alright, now Jared's taking it high, you can see there. Alright, now that closed that bottom gap and it brought that top too high. So now we're going to take the top one and we're going to drop it down some. You're going to need to allot some time for this. If you're doing gaps on 2 doors for a day, that's normal. Don't think it's just going to happen real quick. You gotta go back and forth. So now we're going to take that bottom up again because our gap is still too wide. We're going to take that bottom up again, and then we're going to drop our top down again. So loosening the bottom on pillar side. All right, now we're going to loosen our top.
That brought the gap from about 5/16 down to 1/4, and we're probably going to walk it back another 1/16, where we're going to end up right around 3/16.
And so bottom again, pillar side. So now that bottom of the door is out. So on your door, the in and out this way is on your door side. The up and down is your pillar side. So if you need that to roll in on the bottom, we're going to loosen it up on the door side bottom.
And I actually think, since this is kind of flexing right now, I actually think we need to go top out instead of bottom in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's something that you need to watch. You know, just because you need to take in the bottom, on this one it worked better to take the top out, and that also rolls that bottom in it. Looks like we're going to do the same thing. We're going to loosen up that bottom hinge again and roll it up, and then take down the top and close that gap just a little bit more. So you can see we got this a little bit high. Now if I take my hand, push it down, applying a bit of force, it lines up. So that's kind of where you want to be. You want it to have enough spring to go into where it's supposed to be. And it'll also be good for, you know, time. Time is going to, gravity, people getting in and using the door to lean on and stuff is also going to bring it down some. So it's best to be a touch high than a touch low. I want to see if we can bring what we have here on the bottom. Is this a little bit out from the rocker? I just want to mess with it and see what it does. The reason I'm bringing it out first is just to make sure that it's moving good. Looks like that's all it's got. And now we know. And what?
And knowing is half the battle.
Damn straight. Alright, now we're 69 in Cougars.
Hell yeah.
One job, oh yeah. All it takes is one job, and everything is gonna be okay.